Let's start.
Do I need to wait for the record?
No, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I greet you all in the universal greeting of peace with blessings, all the way from a sunny, lovely day here in South Africa. It is I'm so honored to be here, and it is a privilege of mine to share this platform with you via IIU and via our Honorable Sir Piyush Pandit sir. Before I go any further with today's topic and a little bit of today's training, let me give you a little bit of a heads up on what IIU is all about. So, International Internship University, the IIU, is a leading virtual education system and a global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well-reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. IIU is metamorphosizing the conventional education system by cutting down the additional costs and providing access to more than 1,000 plus courses and internships to their e-learners across the globe with the help of its 1,000 plus global educators. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, the Honorable Mr. Piyush Pandit sir. I, for one, am personally honored to be associated as a professor honorary in education with IIU, and the IIU team is magnificent. And together we are trying to change lives positively through education throughout the world. It is really my honor to share with you today my little bits of knowledge and try and enhance your lives for the better through what I'm going to be saying. So, my topic for today is something I am very passionate about, is something I find much value in for myself as a person. And I hope and pray that by the end of the session today, you yourself will find this kind of value for you as well. Self-growth for self-development. Everything about anything regarding life for you as a person listening to me right now, everything is about you. Everything is for you, about you, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're reacting to, how you're reacting to it. Everything is about you. That you is a self. And when you have to be in yourself, when you have to know who you are as a self, then you will know what these concepts I'm discussing today are about, and you will try and inculcate some things that I'm going to be saying to you in your life to better that self. When I'm talking about self-growth, what exactly am I referring to? Self-growth is also known as something we call personal growth. That word alone tells you something, right? I just spoke of the self and I talked of personal. That is a process of you as a person, identifying certain things about you, developing certain things about you, growing certain things about you. What are those things? Those are your skills. Those are your behavior patterns. Whatever your actions are, whatever your reactions are, your attitudes, your habits, your reactions, and all of this is a process of your growth, your personal growth, your self-growth, and that is to benefit certain aspects of your life. Self-growth might be something you might want to work on concerning your career or your personal life, or it can be something you want to do because you need both to come on par and both to be in balance. But that involves you knowing certain things about yourself, becoming aware about you as an individual. What about you needs to change? How does it need to change? Why does it need to change? That awareness is what is actually key for you to improve. Your self-improvement is key to your self-development. And that self-improvement helps you to identify the why, the what to do, whereas the personal development can help you in understanding more clearly how it has to get done. What do you have to develop in you in order to get that improved state that you are longing for, that you are looking to become? Now, personal growth or the self-growth, as I spoke of in the topic, this is a continuous process. And I'm going to keep saying this because I want you to remember, it is not something where you listen to a me for this moment and it's done. No, your growth internally, your self-growth, your personal growth is something that has to develop as life develops. It grows as you grow in your life. It has to continuously become a process with you daily. Because every day you are facing things. Every moment of every day, there are things coming your way in your lifespan. You have got to deal. You've got to adjust. Those adjustments are actual alterations of your growth process. You growing as a self. And when you learn how it's improving you, whether it's improving you or not, that awareness is key for you to understand whether your growth is taking place and how. And the results that you get from this form of self-improvement and personal development, these are activities. Your results show whether your personal growth is on an individual capacity or just for other people's purposes. But for today, I'm focusing on you as an individual because that self-development is key for you as a self. Before you are able to give unto others, before you are able to grow others, develop others, you need to learn how to develop and grow you to your authentic self. And that personal development requires you to have some goals for you. And so personal development goals are key. These are key for you to understand you, how to get to these goals and how to achieve them is the why and how in your development phase. So personal development are goals, and these are your objectives. And these objectives you will obviously set out for yourself to improve your character, to improve your skills that you require. It improves your capabilities that you have. And setting these goals involves you doing a complete awareness assessment of yourself. When you're doing this assessment of yourself and you're creating an awareness about you, you will learn how to identify the areas in which you can improve to a maximum, whatever your potential is for the betterment of you. And to get started with personal development, you have got to try and create a plan with some steps that you can action, not just put down to pen and paper and leave aside. It requires work because it is that process I spoke of. It requires for you to actually get in tune with you, understand you, and learn the steps that you need to take to become actively involved in how you are completing this process of development. Knowing that it's not going to be completely complete, it's going to ongo as a process for you as you develop. I'll just tell you one thing. I'm not a stranger to having to feel stuck sometimes. Every single one of us that you hear as educators, or you think of us, I'm, for example, an empowerment specialist. I too have had moments in my life where I felt the stuckness. I was kind of stuck. So I'm no stranger to that feeling of where I'm stuck. There are days you want to wake up and all you do is literally going through emotion. When you wake up, you know your process, you know your routine, you make a cup of tea or your coffee, you sit down, you do the work that you need to get done for the day, and then, you feed your cat or your pet or whatever, and then you make something for supper, and then your day is done, and okay, well, you know what? I got to do the same thing tomorrow. These are sometimes a norm where you just get through the day, and then you do it again the next day. And especially if we have to go back to the pandemic, that COVID pandemic brought us all to the same mindset. All our lives, for example, kind of stalled. It just stopped. It stagnated at a specific point, almost like you were in bumper to bumper traffic, and you just can't move any further because everyone is in the same mode. COVID taught us that, but it also kind of hindered us. It hindered us so much so that if we were progressing, we suddenly brought ourselves back to this mode. And it required a lot from within you, within your mindset, within your approach, within your outlook to actually get out of that smallness and try and develop you again. And when you have to look at that, it felt like some of our dreams, some of our goals, some of our ambitions were just somehow buried. And we thought, oh, well, you know what, what's the point? How do I keep going? How do I keep learning? And even when we got through it, we realized we got through it. You realize when you sit today that stuck feeling back then is not necessarily your stuck feeling now. You got through it. You unstuck from that point. That is already growth in itself. That is already your development from that point on. And if you are somebody who's feeling in the stuck mode sometimes, if you are somebody who's feeling and having these days, no matter what your profession or stature is, you have days where you feel like, this is really draining me, I don't know how anymore. It's a norm. You're not alone in that feeling. But how to grow through the feeling, how to actually develop yourself through it and understand this adversity or this adverse feeling or this difficulty I'm feeling or going through right now is just going to benefit me. That requires you to have a skill of knowing that I have it within me to get through it. That knowing is what is your growth. And that growth is your development to keep going with the process to develop yourself even further. So when we're talking about personal development, the reason I'm so passionate about it is because I personally had to embark on a personal development journey of my own. But it only worked for me personally when it became an intentional personal development journey for me, where I intentionally became aware of certain things about me that I had to alter. I sat and intentionally analyzed me, the rights, the wrongs, the do's, the don'ts, and what works and what doesn't. I had that intentional personal development goal. And I pushed myself to learn certain skills, to enhance that within me. And I knew what it meant. I knew what sacrifices it might have meant. I knew what comes with it and what I have to let go of. But I saw myself through it. I grew through it. I knew I wanted personal growth for myself before I could allow to teach personal growth to other people. And I had reached a point a while back in my life where I needed that real change that started from within me to grow me, to become me as I knew how I could be, which is now. And inshallah, as Allah, my creator, helps me, I will continue to grow and learn and develop myself to further help more people across the globe. And this is where it starts, though. It starts from within you. It starts with you being totally honest with who you are, where you're at, what about you needs to change. Otherwise, it's not going to be. It has to be about you, self-growth, self-development. When I'm talking about this personal self-development, it sounds like it's simple, but it's not. It's not as easy as it sounds. Every single one of us out there is different. Every individual has their own individuality, and that comes along with their own characteristic traits, their personalities, their different mindsets, their different perceptions. So this personal development and personal growth is unique to every different person out here. So it only then makes sense for us to say and to realize that personal development is going to look different for everyone. Every one of us out here might want to achieve personal development, but for each one of us as a self, it may be different because your analysis of your being aware of you is going to be different from the next person. So your self-development process is going to be different from the next person. And when we're talking about this personal development, remember, it is looking inward. It is you focusing on ways to better yourself. It is a form of development where you're increasing, like I said before, the sense of self-awareness. But when you're doing that, it's also increasing your sense of self-esteem. And when your self-esteem is lifted, when you're feeling better about you because you know I can be better than me and I'm working hard at it. And when you're doing that for you, not looking for validation from outside of you because of that progress you're making, when you are doing that, then you're very likely to see that from your increased self-esteem, you will have an increase in your skills. Your skills are going to automatically change to become positive, reactionable skills. And that in turn helps you to fulfill whatever your aspirations may be for you as a self. So when I'm talking about personal development, you might say, this lady is so passionate about it. Of course I am. I am because I have been there where I needed to grow myself and develop me. And so I know out there, every single one of you listening to me also has that potential within you to grow yourself and be better. And remember, this development of your persona, this development of you as a person is not restricted to just trying to think, how can I How can I develop my career even further? How can I, how can I actually aspects of your life that are key? When you are talking about you growing as a self, holistically, that is going to encompass you growing all avenues that make you whole. And when you're looking at this change of all of the aspects of your life being for the positive, where would you like to see yourself grow, in which aspects, and how your holistic being develops? And it doesn't discriminate because it's you. You don't pull up barriers about you because it's just you, for you, and about you. When it comes to this personal development, it's hard to talk about needs without ever talking psychologically about Maslow, right? But according to him, remember, your basic needs have to be fulfilled in order to reach your fullest potential. This is what he taught, and it is true. We have to have basic needs of ours met in order to try and accomplish something that we think is going to be completely beneficial for us. But to reach this sense of self-actualization that we need to have, we have to really become we have to have such a high level of self-awareness that we are impacting us very clearly. We know we have the level of self-awareness, we have the level of self-confidence, we have the levels of self-realization to be able to know, how do I need to grow myself, and how am I going to develop myself to meet my optimum growth as a person and individual. When I'm talking about the self-growth and self-development, there are some key points that I'm going to try and go through with you today. And it's going to be crucial for us to understand these, because with this is how understanding these different concepts is going to be able to help you develop yourself further. And you might resonate with one or two of them and try and write them down if you need to, but listen to understand the concept and try and resonate with how does it impact you, because there's different ways in which that you are able to have this concept of growth for you. How do I actually develop me as a person, as an individual? The first thing you need to develop about you and how to help you with your growth philosophy for you as a self is your mind. Everything is about how you envelop things in your mind. How do you encompass things in your mind? How are you perceiving things in your mind? So your number one key factor for you to understand this concept of self-growth for your self-development is to develop a growth mindset. Develop this growth mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, then you're going to shy away from the challenges because you're not going to want to feel embarrassed. You're not going to want to be humiliated in front of other people, because who wants to feel like that? Am I correct? So this can be problematic for you because your fear, the fear that we have of making mistakes, the fear that we have of what somebody may think, the fear that we have of how somebody will react, that is going to avoid us from learning and getting through the challenges. And we're not going to be able to learn the new experiences that can actually be positive when we get through the challenge. These experiences that we're not wanting to face because of this fear factor we have are experiences that could actually help us to grow. They can help us to improve ourselves in very important ways. And that can also help you to create a life that you really desire. That hindering factor of your fear, of that fixed mindset of, if they say this, then I rather not, that is going to hinder you. It's hindering your process. But if you have a growth mindset, if your mindset is not fixed and is one of the growth mindsets, then you're going to enjoy the challenges. You're going to, despite whatever risk it may be, you're going to actually value the learning process. You're going to want to grow more. And others will want to learn from you, and you will keep learning from other people. What are you doing? And that's why those with the growth mindset, they often are people who build up new skills more easily. These people with the growth mindset, obviously, they wish to grow more. They wish to learn more. They're willing to take a little bit of a risk to learn a little bit more first about themselves and grow themselves in whatever roles they play. And because they believe that they can, they really work hard at it. So it all is about your mind. It all is about how you react to these fears and to try and change the fixed mindset that you might be having to try and grow yourself. Grow you and grow your mindset. So develop that growth mindset for you to learn how to grow you as a self and develop you as a self. Secondly, and very important, of course, is your ability to think. You need to have a certain sense of how do you think about things? How are you thinking about things for you? How do you perceive things as you think about it for others? And everyone can benefit from learning how to think. You know, whether it's as an entrepreneur, whether it's as a mother, whether you are a grandmother, whether you are whatever field you are sitting in, learning how you think and creating and developing that ability you have to think is crucial, because regardless of whether or not you have your own business, it is important for you to have an innovative sense of thinking. You have to have good planning skills. You have to be able to have possible outcome skills so that you know if this happens, then this may be what I need to do. You need to be able to think critically, and you have to work on the skills that you need to have in order to get others to see your vision, to see your mission, to respect that. How do you get people to listen to you? How do you get people to actually adhere to certain things that you might need to say if, for example, you are a business person or a corporate person and you got people working under you? If you don't develop how you think and how you are aware of certain things about you, you're not going to be able to lead your people properly, because you're not going to be able to have that way of getting across to them. Your skills are going to have to need further development here. But by learning all of these different skills, you're going to learn how to achieve goals. You're going to learn whether those goals are needed to start up now, whether those goals are long-term, short-term. What do I need to do in order to work at getting my goals achieved? And that alone helps you to get positive feelings within you. That positive feeling that resonates within you is going to give you a positive outlook. It's going to give you that positive mindset. And you develop that even further, because then you're going to positively impact your world. Your world. It's your journey. Set yourself up for whatever you want to do in your life, but you will do it positively because you're going to have that innate self within you that you have created from learning your ability to think clearly for you as the self. In today's world, we are consumed with difficulties. Today's world shows us many, many stress issues that come up, not just for adults. Our children across the world are going through a lot of stress themselves. We're seeing multitudes of suicide issues between our kids. We're seeing single parenthood across the world all the time. Stress levels are high everywhere. No matter where you are in the globe watching me right now, you are going through something that is difficult. There is an adversity there. There is stress there. Something or the other has caused the stress. Do we ever take the time out to figure out, how can I keep myself calm through this entire toxic situation I'm in? How can I learn how to de-stress through this and yet not lose me in the process? Again, that power that you have sits within you. It sits within you to actually change that. Because high levels of stress, they're not only bad for your health and your well-being, they prevent you from effectively pursuing any form of self-development goal. If you are somebody who's sitting on a high-level stress case right now for yourself, you are already kind of cutting down your self-development skill. You're cutting down how to grow yourself. Becoming aware of, I am stressed right now. This is what it is doing to me. This is how I'm reacting to people because I'm stressed. I'm edgy, I'm frustrated, etc. Being aware of all of these things is going to make you realize I shouldn't be that way. It should make you think calmly. But for you to be able to do that takes a skill. That skill is what you need to learn. And that learning of that skill is going to equate you to be growing within a self through the adverse situation that you're feeling. It's something I teach all over, and I'm sure many people have heard it from other beautiful speakers as well. Adversities come, difficulties come, but through the adversity is your opportunity to grow you. Through the difficulty, through the stress that you are feeling right now, there is the opportunity to grow yourself, to develop yourself. And by learning some stress reducing strategies, whether it is your meditation, whether it is your prayer, whether it's just standing outside with the, your feet on the sand, getting in touch with earth again, whatever it may be, bring yourself into a space that allows for you to calm you. So find a stress reducing strategy that works for you. Your body, your mind, everything needs to be more equipped to handle the challenges, whatever they may be. But that power of trying to take back control of you is within you. Do not let the emotions and the difficulties and the stress levels that are high out there control you. You have to control them. And that is where the self-growth and self-development point comes in. When I am grown fully within myself and I've developed myself immensely, no matter what life's challenges are, no matter what life obstacles throw at me, those are going to become my lessons. And when I am equipped enough and grown within me enough, am empowered within me enough, then I will have certain skills inside me with my clear thinking, with my ability to learn. I will know how this adversity I'm facing is actually my window of opportunity to grow me. I will grow through this. I will develop myself through this, and I will be successful over my adversity. This needs to be in the mindset. So that calming of yourself and that de-stressing of you is what is required for you to learn. It's a skill that you have got to learn for you to know, I can get through this because I have self-grown and I'm developing myself through life along my life's journey. Very important for us to, again, remember that even though life is hard sometimes, we all experience ups and downs. I myself have done it in my life. Every single person, whoever it is that you're speaking to, whether it is your mentor or not, everyone goes through something that is difficult. We all have the ups and downs. And the thing is that we all don't respond to these ups and downs in the same way. Some people let the hard times actually defeat them. And that is very sad. Other people who think positively, they don't take things so hard. And that is why developing your positivity is key. Developing your sense of self-growth is key. Developing you within yourself is key. And that creates what we call a positive reflex within you. That no matter what it is that's negative that's coming towards you, you have the skill and you are equipped with the skill. You've educated yourself enough with the skill to know, well, this is something that is negative. It is going to impact me negatively. I have the reflex now within me to be able to alter that. I will reframe that negativity into something positive, and that is going to make it easier for you, and you're not going to take it so hard. It's not going to control you anymore. You're going to take control of it. Because if you can be a little bit more positive about some things that are difficult, then the bad times that you might be facing are not going to look so bleak after all. When we're talking about connectivity, it is so important for us to understand how technology has advanced us to all be able to connect in this way. And for that, we have to give thanks. We give thanks to the advancement of the technological phases, devices that come up, the improvements that keep coming with it, etc. But here's the thing. The telephone, mobiles, we can't walk away from it. We can't say to anybody, don't have one. It's a necessity now. There was a time when anybody who had a cell phone, wow, we used to think of them like they have a cell phone. Now you have to have one. Having a mobile is a compulsory thing. Having a phone is important, but very often we're finding parents say to us, please tell my child that they can't be on the phone. We can't do that either, because now even the scholastic systems of education are trying to get your kids to do work on their mobiles, research stuff off mobile. Everything is about technology, yes? But here's the thing. I had a mom who came to me once, and her problem was with her child and the device. But not so much that the child is always on the device. The child is just always in the room. And every time she needed to get this child to come to have a meal with them, she would call and she would call and she would call and say, come to have your meal, dinner is served, please come to the table, and nobody would come through. And you know how she'd eventually get this child out of the room? She would pick up her phone and she'd phone her child, or she'll send a WhatsApp text to her child. And that's the only way the child will get the message. How's that? You live in the same home, but you're going to text each other to get a message across, to do something together and then go back again. This is what is happening in homes, that I'm there, we come together for a short while, but then we go back there again. What's happening to the unity? What's happening to us being one? You will find families sit together at a dinner table, and every one of them has got a device next to them. Or you'll have them not sitting at the dinner table because everyone's got their own little areas in a home and they're all busy with their devices. How is that growing you as a person in a unit? So as much as we want to grow ourselves, I need to grow me, I need to develop me, but I cannot ignore the roles I play. I cannot ignore where I'm at the moment. When I'm in my home, I'm family driven. I'm with my family unit. I'm with my unit, my God-given unit. So when I'm with my device in my unit, it kind of breaks my unit up until I go back into them, and then I go back to that again. So why am I bringing this up when I'm talking about self-growth and self-development? We need to grow ourselves in order to grow within our units that we're in. We need to develop ourselves to develop within the units that we're in, not grow ourselves and develop ourselves to get so attached to stuff that it's taking us away from the units that we need to be in. Because then, how are we going to grow each other? How do you grow others if you don't have the units to grow? We need to be able, for example, to grow a woman in her home, and this is no disrespect to men, it's an example I'm giving. We grow you as a woman in your home. We empower you as a woman in your home. And you then want to empower your family. And your family then wants to empower that community. And then that community becomes so empowered that together your communities start developing and empowering other communities, and you develop a society and an empowered society too. And that then grows and grows, and eventually you have an empowered, really developed, well-developed nation. It starts with one though. But if we were all segregated because of technology, then where's the unit for us to grow into or to grow with? So let us understand that we have the importance. There's the importance of a lot of these things, but we mustn't get sucked up into our device, into your phone, letting this object actually take over your time. It takes over your headspace. Your phone takes over your emotions. Your phone takes over everything. Everything about you is your device, your device, your device. At some point, there's just you. When is that for you on a daily basis? How many of us can answer that honestly and say, as soon as I get home, I have family time and my device is put away until I have time alone for me again, and then I pick it up and check my stuff again? How many times have you walked in a mall and seen a family walking with their children? You may find a parent, one parent maybe, or two, looking around, but the other kids that are walking with them are busy on their mobiles or with a headphone, and they're walking in a mall. You're in a mall. It's supposed to be a social space. That's another example. Do not get so sucked up into the device. That is a device. You control the phone. The phone does not control you. It cannot control you and your headspace and your thought process. It's no wonder that we're having such a hard time to build any new skills in our kids, especially because they're so driven by this device. They're so driven by these things who take away their attention. Technology is here to stay. Technology is going to keep advancing. The phones are going to get more and more advanced. And we who are old school have got to get more in touch with that too. We cannot ignore that it's there, but we cannot allow that to control and consume your mind or you. That's still within your control. And that is why it's so important, I say, we have smartphones, we have smart TVs, we have everything, and it's wonderful. I still have to get myself techno-savvy, by the way, but I will. But at the end of the day, don't let your smartphone outsmart you, is what I will say. That device shouldn't be outsmarting you and your emotions. Learn how to use your technological devices in ways that are good for you, instead of ways that are harming you, even if it is harming indirectly. Because growing you and developing you as a self doesn't require necessarily a device. It requires your time. It requires you to know you and analyze you, not based on what a device teaches you. It's you. So how am I going to grow and develop myself if I allow this device to overtake me? If I allow and give that control and power of me over to a device and others that are in my device who are strangers probably. Think about that. A very important concept that we need to also understand when it comes to you developing yourself and growing yourself. How do you develop yourself to become resilient? This art of you being resilient is key for you to learn how to develop you. But how to be resilient is also important because you're not going to learn the art of resilience if you are not honest enough to know that you need to learn how to be resilient. Many people out there actually think that they are resilient already, but they're actually not. Remember, the resilience is that very, very important skill that you have within you that helps you to kind of bounce back. You bounce back very quickly after something has knocked you down. That is resilience within you. And how often have we seen people who are defeated when something knocks them over? So I say art of resilience because it is a lot of work within you, but it's beautiful effort. It's beautiful once you see how it works for you. This resilience that you have is an important skill because it's important for your success. Because none of us will achieve anything if we don't keep trying when we fail. When something falls, you pick it up. You don't just leave it there. Why? Because you know it's going to be harmful for you afterward. But at the end of the day, you pick up. The same applies to you. Build your resilient skills because life's going to continuously throw us stuff. We've had so many things. We have it right now across the globe. People are going through the worst forms of issues right now. But most of them are persevering because they have that resilience within them to pick up, to bounce back when they fall or when something's trying to knock them over. They don't allow that to control them. They control it. And that is because they have an inner self-growth, an inner growth within them, a development source within them that teaches them this art of resilience. And that resilience is very directly linked to you having the mindset of change. The art of resilience within you is very directly linked to what I spoke about earlier in terms of your ability to think clearly when things are going wrong. And it also helps you as this resilience within you to pick yourself up, see the adversities as opportunities to grow and get you through it. When you're going through that, when you're tapping in your mindset, when you're tapping into being mindful, understand that you have got to be mindful of your moments that you have. When you are trying to do this introspection that I'm speaking about in terms of you learning about you as a self, growing you as a self, what am I trying to tell you? I'm telling you to be mindful. Be aware, be mindful of you in the moments that you have. So stay mindful in your moment that is present, your present moment. When you are mindful and you stay present in your moment, then you're actually taking each day as it comes. Even though you have that long-term goal, even though you have the long-term dream that you are striving so hard for, you're going to really actually enjoy this process of developing you, this process of growing you as a self to get to that dream, to achieve your goals, because you will take pleasure in the simple, small, wonderful parts of just being you, just being alive, just being able to breathe without the mask on anymore, just being able to breathe without a machine attached to you, just being able to feel sunlight, being able to even feel raindrops. All of these small things about life help us to stay mindful in our moments, present moment, and I say present with the pun on it. Present as in it's a gift. Your moment of you being you is a gift. Appreciate that gift. When you appreciate and give gratitude for who you are and the gift of who you are and being mindful of the moment of your gift of being you in that moment, then the universe is going to throw you positives continuously as rays of light will shine on you and your whole being will excel. So I have to admit, okay, when you have to try and be present in your moment all the time, it can be a task. For somebody who doesn't really know it and how, it's a task, it's a skill, but it's a skill that can develop. So you growing yourself and developing yourself in that is growing your skill. But struggling with mindfulness actually can limit your success. I know this because at one point back then in my life, before I learned so many things about how to grow me, I was also there. I was kind of mindful for a second, and then things would engulf me because they'd control me, and I have to find my way back. That resilience is becoming an art, has become an art within me now, but it was a process back then. So, for example, if I'm talking about now being mindful and present in my moment, I know that sometimes being mindful is a struggle in itself. When I used to try to be mindful, I used to not have much success initially because my mind would wander. As much as I would like to appreciate something now, something else will consume my mind. It takes a skill. It takes you to learn, but it takes practice. Practice in the process of you growing yourself and developing yourself. That actual practicing grows you and it builds your resilience. Just keep trying. I'm still doing it on a daily basis. It doesn't just end because life's a journey. It's a process. We have to keep living day by day. We have to keep learning and growing. So these are skills you have to keep growing and learning about. Give it a try too, and build some very mindful skills. See how it helps you. It's going to help you develop that initial mindset I spoke about earlier. That is very, very key for you to grow you as a self and impact your self-development too. Every time somebody speaks, whether it's on the IIU platform, whether it's on any other platforms that I'm at, I absolutely love it because we learn. None of us really know everything. Every one of us has to constantly learn. I personally am a lifelong learner. I will continue learning different things, different subjects, different topics. And we have amazing speakers and people that teach, educators across the globe. And if we take the time, and if you know that you are one of those people who want to continuously develop yourself, then you will keep developing yourself in different ways, in new ways. And every time you learn from someone, every time you take a time out, for example, every day, 3 minutes a day, every evening, take a 3-minute time out and find 3 things in the day that you are grateful for. In that 3 things that you find that you're grateful for in that whole day, it's a learning experience. It is you developing yourself with your gratitude that you are facing. We know of science. Science is clear. The more ways we develop ourselves, the broader our skill sets are going to be, and they're going to have more successes in our lives. That's clear. But try learning these new emotional skills and try out some new activities to build on your skills. There's so many different skills and enhancement skill projects that are out there. Many, many, many times we fall short because we're not in tune with our emotions, and that is key. So develop your emotional skills. Find out about these activities that you can learn about how to build on your skills to better you. And you might just learn something that changes your entire life. You never know. But it's up to you to take that time. It's up to you to realize that if I want to grow me, I have to learn these things for me. I have to take the time and sacrifice a little bit of my time to learn some things about me, for me, to develop me. Because that is where the crucial things lie. That is where the importance lies, in you. When you're growing you as a self, there are multiple things about you that need growth. You need to focus on your mental growth. You need to focus on your social growth. You need to focus on your spiritual growth. You need to focus on your emotional growth. And you need to focus on your physical growth. When you're focusing on these 5 aspects of your growth, you are holistically growing you. You are holistically looking at you as a being, not just somebody who's here to exist, but somebody who's here to live, who's here to be. And the other day I was on a webinar with Professor Elizabeth Lucas, and she said that word of being. And that's what stuck with me. We love to be. We need to be in our being. And when we try and do that, developing these 5 aspects of our inner growth, our self-growth is going to help us. It is key. Your mental growth is absolutely crucial because everything comes from your development of your mind, the way you think, how you relate, your cognitive functions. Improving your mental aptitude is going to benefit not just you, but everyone around you. Remember that you need to perform simple tasks like stay informed about trends, stay informed about updates in the fields that you are working in, or whatever it is that you find interesting. If you are a kid at school, then whatever interests you there, but experience it and grow yourself mentally with it. When you talk about social growth, that's about you and your communication skills. Enhance those. Whether you're professional, whether you're staying home, learning how to communicate effectively is absolutely key. Your spiritual growth is you. That is where you grow you, and it refers to you connecting with yourself, but on a holistic level, where you develop yourself as a person who finds that inner peace. People will experience spiritual growth, in different ways, but that depends on you as a person, your culture, your belief system, your experiences. Some prefer a very structured approach to spiritual growth. Others just prefer it to be how to meditate, how to improve their spiritual health. But either way, it's about you, your self-growth and your self-development. Emotional growth is key, highly aligned with the other senses of growth as well, concepts of growth that go together, but this focuses on you developing and managing your feelings, your development and management of your feelings, and how you actually learn to react to situations. How do you control that situation and learn how to react to it? So those situations and incidents of life do not consume you or control you. You control them. This assists you. When you have an emotional growth sense about you, it's going to help you to actually effectively express yourself emotionally. What is your emotion? Discuss your opinions very healthily instead of creating a violent meme or whatever. You're actually able to speak properly. Discuss it with patience, with an open-mindedness. So emotional growth allows you to process your feelings, evaluate your feelings, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, but it helps you to learn how to appropriately do this for your own, again, self-growth and your self-development. Your physical growth, doing everything else in terms of growing you, developing you, will also help enhance your physical being. Your personal physical growth involves you taking care of your body, taking care of you as a person, in very productive ways. Only you know you. Only you know your body. Only you know the conditions of your body. How is it affecting every other person, personal growth and development of you? How does your physical self, your physical being, your physical body sense, how is it impacting on your spirituality? How is your physical body and physical self right now impacting on you mentally? How is your physical body actually impacting you emotionally? How is it impacting on you in terms of your spirituality, your social growth, your social life? How is it? Is it impacting you positively or negatively? What are the hindrances? And then find out what you can do to try and change the negative about your physical self to become something positive where you grow. Because when you feel better physically, then your work becomes easier. Your mindset is clearer. And you are then able to grow yourself even better, develop yourself even better. In all of this that I have spoken to you about, I'm hoping that you've taken something that you can resonate with, something about you that you are willing to alter, something to change about you that's going to benefit you to grow yourself, to impact yourself so that you can develop who you need to be authentically for your life's journey. Because there is a direct link. There's a direct link between your growth within you and the development of you through life, a long life's journey. It's a process. Your growth of you as a self is a process. The development of you as a self is a process. Align them both with who you are and bring yourself in balance to become who you need to be. Firstly, for you, be the best you can be. It's your journey. It's your lane. It's your race. This is your one chance to be the best you can be, the most authentic being you can be. And you owe it to you to grow yourself, to develop you to be the best in that version of you. I'm going to leave you there, and I'm going to say thank you again to our beautiful IIU team, everyone that is behind the scenes who makes these things possible. Thank you so much to our Honorable dear Piyush Pandit, sir. I thank you, sir, Piyush Pandit. You have done amazing work. I am honored to be a part of your IIU program, and changing lives through education for all of humanity. Thank you, everyone. I hope that every one of you stays blessed and safe and has resonated with something I've said that has impacted on your life positively today and maybe later on as well. I look forward to our next session together. God bless and all the best. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Take care. God bless.